I'm building the world's lightest roof for my sim rig, and I'm about to nerd the out of it.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
This is the 6th episode of my sim racing journey. Welcome to Stage 0, the space program that never got funding. If you've ever tried to record a sim racing video or a nice hardware detail on your rig, you know the struggle. Every time I want to record a video, I perform the same ritual. Move lights, move cameras. Hit record. Forget one thing. Repeat. And at some point I realize I've spent about 80% of my time setting everything up again. This isn't racing. This is Stage 0 all over again. So naturally, I decided to build something that cuts this time in half and pimps up my rig again. Let's start with lighting. Most of us race under a ceiling lamp designed exclusively to destroy immersion. It's just there, judging you. Too much light ruins immersion. Too little light ruins the footage. And both ruin your concentration while driving. Then there are cameras, tripods on the floor, arms clamped to random places, angles that are fine, but never quite right. Every adjustment fixes one problem and creates 3 new ones. I wanted something permanent, attached, and completely worry-free. This is the stage where you act like a man, commit to an idea, and leave all the spit and tape solutions crying in the corner. This isn't about building another cockpit replica or putting myself inside a box. It's about creating a framework for better racing and better storytelling. Today, I'll show you how I built a lightweight, permanent roofing system for controlled lighting, cameras, microphones, streaming, and creativity. So, grab a coffee and say goodbye to your family, because you're about to witness the birth of another epic addition to my sim racing rig. Plywood constructions and cardboard ideas? Nope, not on my watch. When you build something like this, the material choice decides everything. This is a carbon fiber tube, 20 millimeters in diameter. Light, stiff, and visually screams, I made poor financial decisions, but I'm happy. Spot on. Carbon fiber tubes are cheap enough to make over-engineering feel justified. Now, let's figure out how it's actually going to be mounted. The roof will mount behind the monitor and grip the aluminum profile that already keeps the monitor in place. Why fight the existing structure when it's already doing half the job, right? A deviation of 20 degrees from the vertical? Yeah, that looks nice. Everything starts in 3D modeling software, where everything is perfect and nothing weighs anything. I'm designing custom joints to connect all the carbon tubes. To make this work, I need a few different types: a 20-degree angle, a 110-degree angle, and a 90-degree joint. Basically enough geometry to make my math teacher nervous. All the angled joints are reinforced with extra material inside the bend to keep this thing stiff like my opinion about clamps. These joints keep the structure rigid without adding unnecessary weight, because weight is the enemy, always. Look at this. It's starting to look quite fancy on my screen. These little guys will be 3D printed and hopefully lock the whole structure together without turning the rig into a medieval torture device. No plywood, no furniture panels, no cardboard engineering. I want rally vibes, not a coffin. Design, print, test. Realize I was off by 0.3 millimeters. Back to the drawing board to fix it. And print again. Printed in tough ASA for strength, and slightly abused while removing those goddamn supports. A few bumps survived the operation, but nothing sandpaper can't finish. I can see how many of you are watching all the way through, and that tells me something. So let's make this interesting. If this video hits 1,000 likes, I'll release the 3D model files, and you'll be able to build this roof system yourselves. No gatekeeping, no secrets. You in? That sound? That's mechanical happiness. The sound of correct tolerances. Assembly is quick, mostly because future me designed it properly. The connectors lock the geometry in place and the carbon tubes do the rest. It's ridiculously lightweight. Carbon tubes and custom prints with 100% infill, 578 grams, lighter than a starter pack of excuses before a rally stage. Is this the world's lightest sim rig roof? No idea, but it has to be dangerously close. The real question is, will it actually hold cameras, lights, and other Hollywood director accessories? Spielberg hasn't called yet, but we're about to thrash the absolute crap out of this anyway. Once installed, the roof feels like part of the rig, not an add-on. No flex, no rattles, and because everything here is round, snap-on mounts are now a thing. LEDs, GoPros, microphones. Who knows? Maybe even my mirrorless camera will end up hanging from this little cage. It feels uber solid. And now, the fun part. Let's solve problem number 1, lighting. Instead of light stands, tripods, and prayers, I designed clip-on mounts that snap directly onto the carbon tubes. This is where things usually fall apart, but not today. No tools, no swearing. And it's mounted. The lamps sit exactly where I want them, and because everything is modular, I can move them, rotate them, and pretend I planned it this way all along. Now, let's talk about cables, because I don't like cables. Remember my cable management hack? You go watch it, available in episode 3. Cables are like weeds. Ignore them for 5 minutes, and suddenly they're everywhere. This time I routed everything cleanly along the tubes using good old Velcro straps. Simple, reliable, and infinitely adjustable. And now, let's add a little drama. One roof structure, infinite bad ideas. I call it TCAS, the Clamp Avoidance System, a lightweight solution to a heavy emotional problem, designed to eliminate clamps, patience, and common sense. It's time to solve the second problem. Cameras. We'll start small without turning my rig into a clamp cemetery. The GoPro 11 Black Mini. A tiny cube with disturbingly big cinematic ambitions. Quick idea and short print session later. It snaps onto the carbon tube like it came pre-approved by the FIA. Angle adjustment, easy tilt, done. Ladies and gentlemen, the pinnacle of sim racing audio engineering, a strategic anti-loss solution for a microphone that disappears faster than my dignity on a gravel stage in Assetto Corsa rally. For a little extra racing atmosphere, I added a cheap race car window safety net. Completely unnecessary. Absolutely worth it. White? Red? Okay, let's go with red. A little blue accent on the side and we're off. A novice rally driver is about to step on the gas. Keep your fingers crossed. Epic failures, now presented in glorious red lighting. This thing was born for GoPro. Mounting points everywhere. I could film a rally documentary without leaving the seat. Everything's within reach, ready to capture every missed shift, every blown apex, and every high-speed moment of regret.
3, 2, 1, go, through there.
I did not expect that cage to hold this well, which is either excellent engineering or blind optimism, combined with a 3D printer.
Tightness 2.
Either way, we're keeping this project alive. It started as a way to make recording easier, but it turned into something more. Better lighting, interesting camera angles, more immersion, and honestly, the simple joy of building something that fits your process, making the rig not just epic, but more mine.
Left 50.
This is not a cockpit replica. It's not heavy, and it's definitely not claustrophobic.
4 left and 5 right. Tightness 4.
Let's be honest.
6.
This entire project could have been solved with 5 clamps and significantly lower expectations. But where's the fun in that? Does it improve my racing line? Nope. This roof did not save me there. But what it did save me from is pre-recording panic, lighting chaos, and the emotional trauma of setup day. Now I can prepare photos, videos, and race sessions without collateral damage before every recording. More immersion, better angles, less clamp trauma. The clamp avoidance system, Phase 1. Complete. Phase 2, probably unnecessary, which means it's definitely happening, and hopefully faster than this video. Don't worry, I've got a few structurally ambitious ideas up my sleeve. And this little thing, yeah, that's not random. That's future chaos. All right, Global Committee of Sim Racing Engineers, your move. It's time to break something. I already built the world's lightest sim racing roof. Now we need to abuse it properly, together. So tell me, what should we hang on it next? Drop your ideas in the comments, slap that like button, and subscribe. Because in Phase 2, we're going to push this little engineering experiment to its absolute limits and find out what this thing can actually survive. If you're struggling with cameras, lights, or setup chaos, steal the idea. Build something that fits your process, your space, your obsession. Over-engineer it, add unnecessary carbon fiber. Because sometimes, the best part of sim racing is building the stage before you hit the gas. Smash that subscribe button and join me on the next stage. More crashes, more lights, more chaos. All fully engineered, as always.